Okay, here we go with the words for lesson 4. Lesson 4. Approbation, an expression of approval or praise. The company's flexible hours policy won the employees' approbation. They liked it. Benighted, I love this word. Benighted is existing in a state of moral, cultural, or intellectual darkness, unenlightened. To insist that males and females perform only stereotypical gender-based roles is benighted. Bourgeois, French word, the middle class, or a member of the middle class. Because his family didn't have a lot of money, Chris's bourgeois spending habits were a source of frustration. Adjective, very concerned with middle class values such as respectability and material well-being, with an inclination toward mediocrity. Was it really imperative to wear a suit to this event, Shri wondered, or was it just one more bourgeois demand for which he had no patience? And it can mean reflecting mediocrity. Mediocrity meaning middle, like, nothing great, just kind of medium. Morgan considered his neighbor's taste in home decorating to be bourgeois. A credo is a strongly held belief or a guide to one's action. The credo of the Three Musketeers was all for one and one for all. Empirical, based on experience and observation as opposed to theory. So you're actually drawing conclusions based on empirical evidence, things you have seen, things you have observed, capable of being confirmed by observation. So empirical evidence is hard to refute. Modern science began with insistence upon empirical data, as opposed to unsubstantiated ideas of philosophers of the ancient world. Eschew, that's another word I love. Eschew means to stay away from, to shun, especially on practical or moral grounds. Not a strict vegetarian, Rebecca eschews meat, although she will eat a few kinds of fish. Expatiate. Expatiate, usually used with on or upon. So we'll hear how that sounds with the example. To speak or write about in great detail, to elaborate. The senator expatiated upon the need to preserve our dwindling wetlands. He yapped about it in great detail. Iconoclast is a person who attacks established beliefs or customs or institutions. So, I remember Betty Friedan. Iconoclast Betty Friedan, and that's how you pronounce her last name, rejected the notion that biology is destiny in her 1963 revolutionary work, The Feminine Mystique. She was an early feminist in the 1960s. She was an iconoclast because she went against what was widely held as true. She attacked those established beliefs. Indigence is an extreme level of poverty. Many families reduced to indigence by the Great Depression of the 1930s traveled to California looking for work. As an adjective, it means without means of support. They were an indigent family. Now it's describing family. And an indigent can be another noun meaning a person who is indigent, like he is an indigent. Laudable is praiseworthy. The parents' efforts to save the publicly funded nursery school from being closed were laudable, praiseworthy, but marked by conflicts from the start. And that paper right there is laudable. They did a good job. Mandate is a clear command or instruction, a mandate. The Brexit vote of 2016, do you guys know what Brexit was? It was when Britain left the European Union. They exited, and so they made this new word, Brexit, Britain exiting. The Brexit vote of 2016 gave a clear mandate for the United Kingdom to leave the European Union. As a verb, it means to require or order. The Constitution mandates the right of an accused to a fair trial. They order that anybody who's accused of a crime has a right to a fair trial. The mandate. Ostensible. We've had that word in the past in another earlier year. Only seemingly so, apparent. His ostensible reason for stopping at the cafe was to socialize, but he was really trailing someone in his role as a private detective. Ostensibly can be used also. Recalcitrant, adjective, unwilling to accept another's authority, stubbornly defiant. I'm sure none of you have ever been recalcitrant at home with your parents. In spite of Denzel's efforts to bring the recalcitrant horse into the trailer, it continued to pull back as soon as they reached the ramp. Recalcitrance is another form of the word, that's the noun form. Regurgitate, to expel partially digested food from the stomach. Some birds feed their young by regurgitating food into their offspring's beaks. Or to repeat mindlessly what one has learned. Students need to develop critical thinking skills rather than merely regurgitate what they hear in a lecture. And risible, provoking or causing laughter. The actor declaimed King Lear's speeches in so pompous a manner that the effect was risible rather than moving. And that is it for lesson 4.